Hello class 7. Today in our discussion we will learn about a plane mirror. Now a plane mirror is a plane reflecting surface. A reflecting surface which is straight or a plane. There are some reflecting surfaces which are curved or round shaped, but in this case, as you can see, it's a straight plane. And it's an ordinary piece of glass which is actually painted, or we call it as silvering. You can see these zebra crossing like lines which I have drawn on this side of the glass piece. It indicates that this side of the glass piece is painted so that the opposite side, that is this side, becomes the reflecting surface. Now the paint or the chemical that we use for the painting of one side of glass, or the silvering as we call it of glass, silvering is the process of converting or painting a glass surface on one side with a solution called silver nitrate solution. Okay, so since silver nitrate solution is applied, so the process also is called as silvering. So silvering is the process of applying this silver nitrate solution paint on one side of the glass so that the opposite side becomes the reflecting surface. So an ordinary piece of glass can be converted into a plane mirror. Alright, so I hope you get what is a plane mirror. A plane mirror is a plane reflecting surface. And how do we make a plane mirror? We take an ordinary glass piece, and one side of the glass piece, as you can see over here, these lines represent the painting or the silvering process. What is silvering? It is the process of painting one side of the glass surface by a solution known as silver nitrate solution so that the other side becomes the reflecting surface. So when the light passes, or when light hits this glass piece, it will not penetrate as light penetrates an ordinary glass piece, but it will now reflect back. It will hit the glass and it will reflect back. You can see your own reflection also in it. The mirrors that you have in your houses, if you take out the mirror from its case, then you will see that the back portion of the mirror is painted. So that painting is known as silvering. Why silvering? Because that paint contains silver nitrate solution. So that when you paint one side of the glass with silver nitrate solution, the other side becomes the reflecting surface. Now yesterday we had learned about a phenomena called reflection, and we had learned there were two types of reflection. You should know that any object we see with our eyes, when reflection happens, that is, when light comes, hits the object, reflects back into our eyes, and then only we can see this particular object from where the light has been reflected. So in order to see any object, first of all we need light. That light needs to fall on the object which we need to see. From that object the light reflects and it comes to our eyes. Now if there is a regular reflection, then all the rays which hits the line will reflect and come to our eyes. But if there is a scattered reflection, then all the rays hitting the surface may not come to our eyes. It will be scattered here and there. Alright. So a regular reflection is the one in which all the rays of light, after hitting the regular surface or the plane surface, it reflects and comes to our eyes, and then we see the object. Even in irregular reflection we will be able to see that rough object, but in case of regular reflection all the rays come to our eyes, whereas in scattered or irregular reflection only few rays will be coming to our eyes. Rest of the rays will be scattered here and there. So anyways, what we need to know is that any object we see is when light falls on the object, reflects and come to our eyes. Unless reflected rays come to our eyes, we will not be able to see that object. Also we learned that during reflection, for any one particular ray, the angle of incidence is equals to angle of reflection. So now we will learn how in a plane mirror an object and its reflection is produced. This is the main object and this is the image of this object, and the image can be seen. How the image can be seen, we will learn by drawing ray diagram. Now what is a ray diagram? A diagram in which we obtain the image of the object by drawing few rays, and those ray diagrams we will draw by using the laws of reflection that we have learned yesterday. The law of reflection that we had learned is that angle of incidence is equals to angle of reflection. Remember all these terms that we had discussed yesterday. This dotted line is known as normal line. It is an imaginary line which is drawn at 90 degree to the reflecting surface. So in that, when we draw an incident ray which hits the reflecting surface at the point of incidence, from the same point of incidence we draw the normal line, and the angle between the normal and the incident ray is called angle of incidence. The angle between the reflected ray and the normal is known as angle of reflection. Both these angles are equal to each other. Angle of incidence and angle of reflection are equal to each other. So we will use these laws of reflection to understand how an image of an object is formed in a plane mirror. So this is our plane mirror. This is an object which is kept in front of the plane mirror, and we imagine that one incident ray comes from the object towards the plane mirror, hits the plane mirror and gets reflected. So the point where the incident ray comes and hits the plane mirror, that point is called the point of incidence. From this point of incidence we draw the normal line. So this particular incident ray, when it hits this particular point of incidence on the reflecting surface or on the plane mirror, it gets reflected back. See, this gets reflected back. We draw these arrows. Arrow shows us that whether the ray of light approaches or comes towards the reflecting surface or goes away from the reflecting surface. The ray which comes towards the reflecting surface is the incident ray. The ray which goes away from the reflecting surface is the reflected ray. So this is the reflected ray. And remember, as angle of incidence is equals to angle of reflection, so in our diagram also, the angle of incidence, the angle that the incident ray makes with the normal, it will be equals to angle of reflection, the angle that the reflected ray makes with the normal. So as you can see over here, I have drawn the reflected ray in such a manner that both these angles are equal to each other. So both these angles are equal to each other. So this was just one incident ray. Like that we can make one more incident ray and make it fall on some other point of incidence. So this is the second incident ray that I have drawn, which falls on the same mirror at a different point of incidence. From this point of incidence, another normal line, that dotted line that you can see, the second dotted line I have drawn. And now from here the reflected ray will be drawn in such a way that this incident ray, the angle how much it makes, the reflected ray also makes the same angle. You can see over here, I have made the reflected ray in such a way that these two angles should be equal to each other. Here, these two angles I was talking about. These two angles, this is the angle of incidence for this particular incident ray, this is the angle of reflection for this particular reflected ray. These two should be equal, just as this angle of incidence and this angle of reflection were equal to each other. Like that, this angle of incidence and this angle of reflection will be equal to each other. So you have now two reflected rays as you have two incident rays, and you can see both these reflected rays, they diverge away from each other. That means after reflection they don't cross each other, in fact they go away from each other. See, if you prolong this line and you prolong this line backward, they will never meet, in fact they will go away from each other. Okay, but if this line and this line, if I prolong forward, then at some point they will meet each other. So as you can see here, this reflected ray I have prolonged it forward, Also this reflected ray, I have prolonged it forward, or you can say behind the mirror. And there's a point here that both these reflected rays prolonged means pulled forward where they meet each other here. So this is the point where the image of this particular object can be seen. This is the main object and this is the object's image that you see behind the mirror. This is our mirror, this is the silvering, this is the front part of the mirror, this is the back part of the mirror. So the image is formed behind the mirror. The same diagram is in your book here, same diagram, but the diagram that I have drawn, I have done it with 2 incident rays and 2 reflected rays. Here they have used 3 incident rays from the same object. This is our object here. O stands for object. And these 3 incident rays form 3 reflected rays which when prolonged backward they meet here. This is the image. I stands for image. This is the main object whose image you can see behind the mirror. And the interesting fact is the distance of the object from the mirror is the same distance that the image makes behind the mirror. So here you can see U, it is marked as U, small letter U. This U stands for object distance. What is object distance? Distance of the object from the point of the reflecting surface or the mirror. From the mirror, what is the distance of the object? That is called object distance. That is in short given U. And distance of the image from the same mirror, from the borderline, how much behind the mirror, that is image distance, and it is marked as V. And the interesting fact is this U or object distance is equals to V, image distance. That means the image of the object is as far behind the mirror as the object which is in front of the mirror. Alright.